Whoops, we're just gonna keep moving right along.
Hey fam, so in this little video, I am going to show you guys some of the products I'm going to be decluttering out of my collection. I recently did a big old overhaul. I cleaned out my linen closet, I cleaned out under my sink, I went through all my makeup, I swatched everything, I did a little bit of reorganization, I got some new organization pieces to share with you guys, and I'll be working on a full collection video. I'm very excited to share. So I want to go over some products I'm going to be decluttering, and I also want to make a little short announcement. I have decided to go on a no-buy for October. I say this with a lot of trepidation because y'all know I have been shopping, and I've been shopping a lot too much. I've been talking for months about how I need to slow down, and I have. But I decided that I'm going to try. I'm going to really try for the month of October to liberate myself from all new makeup shopping. It's going to be hard. I don't know what products are going to come out. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to give my very best effort to make it through the entire month of October and not buy any makeup. For some of you, that may seem like piece of cake, you know, totally fine. But for me, it's really a challenge. So that's exactly why I need to do this. I know I've been shopping and I've been making very spontaneous decisions and really adding to a collection that's already rather large for one person, in my opinion. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about that with you and kind of taking you through this journey with me for the month, but I wanted to share this declutter and I'm really excited to get into it with you guys. So sorry for the long intro. Let's get into the products.
All right, y'all. So I have this little BoxyCharm box from my Boxy Luxe in September, and I have this whole box full of items I'm going to be decluttering for my collection. These will get passed to family and friends. And let's just go ahead and get into the products I'm going to be decluttering. Okay. So here we have it. The first product I'm going to be decluttering is this Makeup Revolution Triple Bake Bronzer Summer of Love. I have never so much as touched this one. This has been in my collection for, maybe I did swatch it once, I'm not even sure, but I don't think I ever really used this at all. I did pick this up at TJ Maxx and I thought it would be fun to try, but I just have so many bronzers in my collection already that I love. Also, I believe this is supposed to be a dupe for the Too Faced Sweetheart Bronzer, which looks like this, and I already have this one and I love it and I use it all the time. So I thought this would be a good one to pass along to friends and family. The next product I see in here is this CoverGirl Vitalist Go Glow, and this is basically a kind of like a primer for the face. It's an illuminating lotion. So I just find that I'm not really reaching for this very much, and it's just kind of sitting in my collection. And the fact that it's a cream product, it will obviously go bad. So I want to go ahead and see if this can find a better home. The next product I have is this Trestique mascara. We did get this in a Boxy Luxe, I believe the July one. I've never so much as tried this. It's such bulky packaging, and I have so many mascaras to get through that I just threw this directly into my declutter box without even trying it. But I wanted to just go ahead and set it aside because I don't want to give somebody a used mascara. So this is a brand new one I can pass along. The next product in here is this Laura Geller. It's the Red Carpet Ready palette. And I did pick this up from TJ Maxx. I only ever just swatched it. It's got a Diamond Dust highlighter and then 2 shadow shades. And I just don't really reach for this. There's only 3 colors. I don't typically like palettes that have eye and face products in them. It's just not really my thing. And I already have this in a larger size, the same size maybe, but in a separate packaging. And these 2 colors, I feel like I would already have colors like this in my collection. This next palette I'm very sad about. This is the Clinique All About Shadow palette. This palette is absolutely beautiful. It's got a ton of cool tone shades. I don't have anything else like this in my collection. I love this palette and I love this color story. If the shadows actually performed. I had to struggle so much the one time I did use this palette, even swatching it, it's just not very pigmented. I don't think I would try to repurchase shadows from Clinique again. And I wish that someone else would come out with a shadow palette just like this in pigmented shadows that perform well. So I'm really, really sad to be decluttering this because, like I said, I love the color story. It's so unique, and I struggled to find cool tone palettes like this on the market. So very sad. The next item I'm decluttering is this Sculpt and Glow by Model Zone. I've never even tried this, but I've swatched this cream product, and these are just 2 powder blushes. These are beautiful. I have too many blushes. I never reach for this. It sat in my collection untouched for months and months and months and months, and I just don't care to keep it. I think it would do better in someone else's collection and they would get more use out of it. I don't want to hang on to stuff that I'm not using and that I probably won't use, when this can be a great cheek product for someone else in their collection. The next product is this Cargo Cosmetics Enjoy Every Moment palette. I bought like 7 of these palettes and then had total buyer's remorse and gave them all to my sister. I don't know why. I love the Namaste palette that they made, and I think those are really nicely pigmented. These shadows, you know, they do perform. However, I just am not really inspired by this color story. It's just very muted, and that's not really my taste. I like bolder colors and just more unique shades, and this just doesn't really appeal to me. But I think for a neutral lover, someone, you know, for an everyday work palette, this would be great. The next product is actually from, I believe, my second video ever. This is the NYX Tango with Bronzing Powder, and it's got a double pan here, kind of like a deeper or cooler tone brown and a warmer tone brown shade. And this is fine. It's a great bronzer. I have too many bronzers, and I have ones I reach for more often. I thought I might hang on to this one and the Revolution bronzer for body bronzing, but I have body highlighters now and tons of bronzers and highlighters. I don't need to hang on to stuff just to hang on to it. The next product is this Sleek Makeup. There's you guys. Hello. This is a highlighting palette. And in here you have basically 3 cream highlighters and 1 powder highlighter. And I thought this was really beautiful. I swatched this in Ulta and I had to have it, and then I never ever used it. So I don't want these to go bad and clear out some of the clutter from my collection. So the next product is this Laritzi Liquid Beam. This is a face highlighter. I got this, I believe, in an Allure Beauty box maybe a month or 2 ago. I swatched it once. I knew right away it just wasn't my favorite formula. I also have an entire bin of these little liquid highlighters. I mean, it's like a small bin, but I never ever reach for them, and I have ones in there that I love and would like to get more use out of. So I don't want to hold on to one that I wasn't crazy about when I have so many I do really love that I'm not using. The next product I'm going to be decluttering, this Bare Minerals blush in the Aphrodisiac. And I basically tried the other blush in this line that I have, which is the One. Whoops. This is a really pretty blush color. I don't even know if I've ever even tried it, but I didn't like the formula of the other one. And like I said, I have way too many face palettes, single blushes, which when we go over my collection, you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't want to hang on to stuff to hang on to it. And I think someone else will get a much better use out of this blush product than I'm getting. The next product is a palette. It is the Pure and ATN palette. I picked this up from Ross, and I've never even used it. I think the colors in here are really pretty. I feel like I already have these colors in my collection over and over again, and in palettes I reach for more. I think someone else would get much better use out of this than me. Another one is the Pure Midnight Masquerade palette. I actually picked this up at TJ Maxx. I know this was in BoxyCharm before I actually had started to subscribe to it. I really loved this blush shade right here, which is probably the reason I bought the whole palette, plus, you know, FOMO and wanting to try it out. I think I swatched that blush. The plastic is still on this side. I've never even touched this. I need to focus on the products I really love. So next I have a foundation from Becca. This is the Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. So I picked this up from TJ Maxx or Marshalls. So as you can see, this color is just way too light for me. It's like a super duper light shade. So I think that this would actually potentially suit my sister's skin tone. Also, this other Becca Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation, again, way too light for me, but I believe this will suit my sister very nicely. She's more of a porcelain skin tone. So the next one I'm going to be decluttering is this Maybelline 24-Hour Super Stay Foundation. I kind of wanted to try this one more time. I know I tried it one time and I really didn't like it, but that was in the very, very beginning of my little makeup journey. So I'm not really sure that I was like the best authority on anything. You know, I'm still learning, but I definitely feel like I know my preferences much better than I did in January. So I kind of want to try this again just for fun to get my thoughts on it. But From what I remember, when I put it on, it was way too thick, and I believe it's much better suited for oily skin types than for dry skin types, maybe like normal to oily, in my experience and from what I've heard. So I kind of want to try this again, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and declutter it. I still have a million foundations to try, and there's just really no point. So the next foundation I'm going to be decluttering, I believe, is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation and Concealer. I have mine in shade Light Natural. I think I'm going to declutter this as well, and the reason being is that I kind of felt like it made my skin look dry, and then I heard it's a really good dupe for the Urban Decay, I think, All Nighter Foundation or something, that full coverage one that's great for oily skin, and I have very dry skin, so this just isn't the right foundation for me. It's a great foundation, and I recommend this if you do have like normal to oily skin, but for dry skin, I'm not sure if it's the right foundation for my skin type. Like the Maybelline, I'm kind of tempted to retest this to see my thoughts, but I did try this not that long ago when I decided to declutter it. I feel like it was like a month ago, so I'm like, Joy, just move on. All right, sorry about that, guys. My audio was probably a little wonky because I completely forgot to reclip my microphone onto my shirt. But anyway, back to the products. So the next 3 I'm going to be decluttering are these Laura Geller Sunday Funday, Flirty Friday, and Saturday Style. These are awesome little travel palettes. They are really fantastic. I have no complaints about the quality. You've got a blush, a highlighter, and 4 shades in each of these palettes, and they're great colors. They're very wearable. They're great for every day. You get a nice little variety. I've totally tried. I loved this one. I thought this one was great. Well, I shouldn't say love. I enjoyed this, but I think just with these little quads, they're just not palettes I reach for. And like I said, I don't like face products in my eyeshadow palettes. It's just not my thing. I mean, it should be because it's much more convenient, but it's just, I mean, especially for travel. And I'm so tempted to just keep this Sunday Funday, which is my absolute favorite of the 3. But I already have all these colors. I have more than enough blushes and highlighters. I don't want to be all greedy, so I'm going to go ahead and pass these along. The next product, no surprise, is this Cargo lipstick. I also got this, I believe it was my Try Beauty box, or maybe it was an Allure Beauty box, but I had swatched this. It was that hot pink color that's not really my style. I felt like it was bleeding a bit. And going back and watching the footage, I mean, it could have been me that tapped it. I don't think so though. But it's a pretty color. I'm never gonna reach for this. The next product I'll be decluttering, this was a surprise to me actually. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth Foundation. This does have some sunscreen in it, and it's for normal to dry skin. I had liked that Fit Me that was for normal to oily skin, and I thought I would love this one. And when I first put it on, I think it's really beautiful. But what I happened to notice about this foundation is that it never lasted me. And I really wanted to make this work. I tried it with a hydrating foundation by a couple hours, like middle of the day, like lunchtime at work. My foundation was breaking up all around my nose. I had huge chunks of foundation missing, and I was like, whoa. So the next day I tried it with no primer. I was like, maybe I was overly moisturized. Broke up all over my face. So the next day I was like, I'm gonna hit it with the big dogs. I went in with my absolute favorite primer combination, the Touch and Soul with the Milk makeup on top. That is my gripping primer. I was like, okay, try me. Come at me, bro. But I did notice that it helped immensely to use that Milk makeup primer to just hang on to this as much as it could. It definitely did the best of all those different options, but it still broke up. And I'm like, I have to have 30 foundations, somewhere close to that. There's no reason for me to hang on to one that's not working for me. This is another one that breaks my heart. This was my absolute favorite primer when I first started my channel. I love this so much, and it's still, I think, a great primer, but I've just found ones I really like a lot better. Next is this Algenist Reveal primer. It's a color correcting primer, and it's a radiant primer. I did try this one day, and I found that my makeup looked not so great. I think it's meant to be in spot areas to use and not all over your face, but you know, I was a noob, so I'm still kind of a noobs, but you know, like, I just don't see myself ever reaching for this. I'm never gonna have the time in the morning to spot color correct. It's just not my thing. The next one here is this Absolute New York. This was my little setting powder. This was actually one I repurchased from TJ Maxx, and I thought this was really great. And like, I used this years ago, And then I stopped with the setting powder. I didn't know what I was doing with any makeup products back then. I was just totally lost and throwing whatever I could on my face, trying desperately to somehow get my face to look like all the other girls' cute makeup faces. And I'm like, why can't I get this at all? And so, I mean, it's not a bad setting powder. It might be a flashbacky one. Again, at the time, I didn't even know about flashback. I didn't even know what that was. But I have so many setting powders, and I have a Makeup Forever one that's just like this that I'd rather hang on to than this Absolute New York one. So the next product I'm going to be decluttering is this eyeliner from Bodyography in Emerald. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and I like the color a lot, but it is very scratchy for me. It may be that you need to get this kind of more softened up. But I have ColourPop with the cream gel liners. I have a green one, I believe. So the next products I'm going to be decluttering are these two from Laura Geller. They're both just basically like dual shadows. You've got like a gray brown and a redder brown. And then this one has got more of like a caramelly and a chocolatier brown. Great formulas, great little products. I just never reach for single shadows, but and there's no reason for me to hang on to stuff I'm not going to use. All right, next is this Japanesque. It's the Kumadori highlighter in rose gold. And I mean, it's a fine product. I got this at TJ Maxx as well. It's cool, but it's just a very subtle highlighter. And I don't know. I feel like I already have so many highlighters and subtle highlighters and brighter highlighters, and this is just not one I reach for all the time. And I think that this could be really beautiful, for another person. I don't want to in any way communicate that these are not good products. They're just not for me. If I had less stuff, I would probably love this. But because I have so much stuff that I already reach for, I just don't want to hang on to stuff to hang on to it. All right, so we're about maybe halfway through, I think. The next product I'm going to be decluttering is this Meet Matador by The Balm. I picked this up at Ross as well, and it's a great little palette. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the pigment or the formula. I just never reach for it. I feel like I have these transition shades in so many other palettes. I have navy blues, I have blacks, I have greens. It's just, it doesn't inspire me, but somebody else would get so much use out of this, and there's just no reason for me to hang on to it. So, sorry, Balm. Sorry, Matt. Okay, so my camera cut me off, per the usual. So now we're going to be going backwards. I'm going to be putting stuff into the box instead of taking things out of the box. I figured out what was recorded and what was missed, so we're just going to keep moving right along. So the next product is the Aveeno Positively Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. This is in the shade Medium. So this would basically be a great product, I guess, if you're like going to run out to the gym or just, some weekend, toss it on your face. If you just want to do your moisturizer, it gives you a little bit of color. But because this is a deeper color than really what I would wear, I haven't even tried it. The next product I'm going to be decluttering is this 2-in-1 Lip Spa from Absolute New York. I picked this up at Marshall's, and it's basically a balm and a scrub. So we've got like the scrub down at the bottom, and we've got the balm at the top. I now have 2 sugar scrubs in my collection that I like. Next, I had these 2 Becca primers. One is the Backlight priming filter, and the other is the First Light priming filter. So I love these primers. I actually have the full sizes now, and I was going to try to pan these, but I'm like, you have the full size, why be greedy? Next, I have this Kula. It's like a sunscreen, like a tinted sunscreen. And I did try this once, and I just really didn't like the way that it applied. I also have other sunscreens now that I enjoy under makeup more. Next, we have this Elizabeth Arden New York. This is the Flawless Finish Powder. It's kind of like a little bit like bouncy, and I thought this would be like a pretty cool powder foundation or powder, to set my makeup or something like that. I just find that it's a little bit light for me, and I don't really reach for this, and I think I can pass this along to a happier home. Next, I have these 6 eyeliner pencils from Profusion. I picked these up at TJ Maxx. And they're okay. I do have the cream gel liners from ColourPop, which I enjoy a lot more. They're just more pigmented, more creamy than these, but these aren't bad. They're okay. Next, this should come as no surprise. This is the Bella Pierre Cosmetics HD Setting Spray. I did receive this in my Try Beauty box. Of the 5 products I received from Tribe, I decluttered 3 of them. So hoping that October's box will be much more impressive for my $35 since I really didn't feel like I got much use out of the last box. If this one is more of the same, I'm going to go ahead and cancel my subscription, just being fully honest. And I was planning on potentially maybe getting a separate component to put this in because this product, the current sprayer on it just shoots out like a jet, and I don't care for that. And it kind of has like a bubble bath smell. I'm not crazy about it, and I don't want to spend more money buying a component to correct a product that I don't even want. So the next product is this L'Oreal Magic Lumi Primer. This is basically like a light infusing primer. So I put this in my declutter box months ago. I don't even remember why. I'm tempted to try this again, but again, much like the foundations, I have a drawer of primer to the point where I can barely get the drawer closed. There's no reason for me to hang on to a primer that at one point I must have thought I didn't really care for. It might be great. It probably is. I just don't need this in my life. So this next product is a bit of a blast from the past. Before I started my channel and before I started getting into makeup and foundations and all that good stuff, this is what I was using 24/7 forever. This is the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB Cream in the shade 520. So I'm not even sure how I feel about this product. I loved it enough to purchase it and purchase it and purchase it. But I also don't know that I was much of an authority on what looked good on me since I was like in the major struggle with makeup. I just always felt like my makeup looked terrible. No matter what I did, I just didn't think I was very good at it, or I was average but not great. And I'm still not great, but I'm better than I was at makeup. And I definitely feel like I know my preferences better. So while this might be a great product, it's just not one that I reach for anymore. And so I want to go ahead and pass this along. This one's almost empty, and this was the one I purchased as a backup to this one. I had purchased this like 3 or 4 times. So I knew I'd want to back up, and then I just stopped using it. So pretty much brand new and almost gone, but there's still product in there. Another non-surprise is this Cargo blush that went directly from my Try Beauty box into my declutter box. It is a bright red. It looks a little bit coral and kind of pretty on camera, but in person it is like red eyeshadow. When I swatched this on my hand, it basically was so pigmented that it stained my skin, and I was like, no way are you going anywhere near my face. Like, it is way too pigmented for me. I just don't care for it. Like I said, I did not actually try this on my face, but I didn't need to try it to know I wasn't really a fan. So this next product is another beautiful highlighter. I believe I picked this one up as well from TJ Maxx, and this is a really pretty champagne color from Lorac, but again, it's just a little bit more subtle. It's pretty much like that Japanesque one. I already feel like I have highlighters I like that are subtle, that I like a lot more than this one. Nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine. I just have too many highlighters, and this is not one I love. So this next one is the Bare Minerals The One. This is the blush that I had talked about in, I think, a Shop My Stash video, where I mentioned that I had put this on and I felt like within 15 minutes I couldn't find it on my face. It just didn't seem to like last on me. I don't want to hang on to something that didn't really work for me. If you love this, fantastic. I just need a blush with a little bit more pigment. I felt like this just wore off so quickly, and I don't want to hang on to it. All right, so we only have 4 products left. The first of which is this Becca Aqualuminous Concealer. I have heard good things in some videos about this, and when I saw this at TJ Maxx, they had I came the day they must have just stocked it. There was like 20 of these concealers, and I was so excited. I grabbed 3 of them in my shade because I was like, I love concealer. I don't know what is wrong with me. I'm obsessed with concealer. I love trying new concealers. I love having lots of concealers. I don't get it. To me, it's like, I don't know. I just find concealers to be super fun to play with and exciting. It's such a basic face product, but I don't know. I just love testing new concealers. It's just something I really enjoy. This one I hated it. I only used this one time. The product felt almost empty to me. I felt like I was like scraping the sides to get product on this little applicator, and I just didn't love it. I didn't feel like it performed very well. It's like very thin, and like I just hated it. I returned the other 2 that I hadn't swatched because I hadn't swatched them. They were brand new. This one I didn't return because I did swatch it. So it hung out in my collection. I thought maybe I would try a full face of Becca, but I don't ever want to use this concealer again. I just was very disappointed in it and just, I didn't like it. If you love this, if it worked for you, fantastic. It did not work for me. So next, another oldie but goodie is this butter. Basically, this is the True to Form Butter London Bronzer Quad. This is another one from the very beginning of my channel. I'd found this at Marshall's, and I love this color over here for contour. I don't think I ever really used these other two bronzers. This is a fine little palette. I just have a ton of face palettes now with products I really tend to gravitate towards much more, and I don't want to hang on to products that someone else could get a lot of use out of when I'm not really reaching for this. So much as it makes me sad. Bye, little friend. Last two products, the first of which is this Milani Amore Matte Lip Creme in Flame. And I thought this color was really pretty. I also picked this up, I believe, from Marshall's. When I swatched it, however, it stained my hand like crazy. I was a little shooketh after that swatch. I never tried this on my lips, but I believe if you don't mind the staining, you may like this product. I didn't want to tempt fate. And the last product I'll be decluttering is this cute little Stila palette. It's pretty much like an all-in-one palette. This is the Perfect Me Perfect Hue Eye and Cheek palette. This is a fine little product. I still have the plastic on it. It's got a blush, and this may be a bronzer or another blush. It's got like this nice transition color. It's got like a brow bone color. It's got a shimmer and two mattes. I mean, it's great. But I don't feel inspired by eyeshadow palettes with face products. I actually take pleasure in picking out my own face products to go with whatever eye look. I don't really care for the ones where it's all in one, which is silly because it's just more convenient and you don't have to think as much. Stila is a great company. These might be fantastic products. I'm not inspired by it. I think this could be a great blessing for someone else, and there's no reason for me to hoard it when I'm never going to touch it. So, bye. All right, guys, so that's it. That's all she wrote. These are all the products I'm going to be decluttering for my collection at this time. Close the little coffin on these guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all the products I'm going to be decluttering out of my collection and passing on to family and friends so they can get more use out of these. I just have too much stuff and I need to share the wealth. So anyway, I love you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks to BoxyCharm, not sponsored. Thanks for the big box. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you real soon. All right, bye.